Hello students. So student, in the previous class in this chapter, that is matter around us pure, we were talking about that of the solution and the suspension. So we have seen the properties of the suspension, students, and that of the solution, and in both the cases we have found that if suppose we will talk about the true solution, so we have seen in case of the true solution, you see the particles, they are very small in size. Okay, and even they are this much smaller that we cannot see them with the help of our naked eyes. And if you see the size of the particle, you will find that the size of the particle is less than 1 nanometer. Okay. uh, while if you see in case of a suspension, you will find in case of suspension the particles are quite large, and they are even this much large that we can see them with our naked eyes. So they are or we can say the size of these particles, it is more than 100 nanometer. When you see that of the true solution, students, it is a homogeneous mixture. Okay, but in case of the suspension, it is a heterogeneous mixture. It means when you look at the particles, they are somewhere more, they are somewhere less. On the basis of that, we can say that they are heterogeneous. True solution, in case of a true solution, if suppose you will use a filter paper and try to filter the true solution, you will find that the solution can easily pass through the filter paper. It means we are not able to separate the particles of the true solution with the help of the filter paper. While in case of a suspension, when you try to filter, you will find that the residue will present on that of the filter paper. It means, yes, it is possible to separate the particles of the suspension by the process of filtration. Then you see, student, if suppose you want to, if you will throw a beam of a light on the true solution, as well as on the suspension, what will you observe? You will observe that when you throw a beam of a light on the suspension, then because the particles are quite large, so they start scatter. Okay, so scattering of the light will occur in case of the suspension. But in case of the true solution, you will not going to find such thing. It means the particles are this much small that no scattering of the light can take place. So you see that the properties and the size of the particle itself explain about the properties of the true solution and the suspension, and it is said that they are totally different from each other. Now, what is there in case of the colloids, students? So, in case of the colloids, we have started and try to understand in case of the colloids. So, in case of the colloids, you see that basically what happened here, the particles, it is what? It is an intermediate between that of the property of suspension and that of the true solution. And the reason behind this intermediate, it is because of the size. When you try to find it, you will find that they are in between the true solution and suspension. It means the size of the particle is obviously more than that of the 1 nanometer and less than that of the 100 nanometer. And because of this only, we can say that the particles shows the properties of both. In this case, students, we have seen here that if suppose you will take a chalk powder or you will take a sand and water. In place of that, if suppose you will take an example of a chalk and water or sand and water, it will shows the property of suspension. If we talk about the colloids, students, so we have understood the concept with the help of the soap solution. And we have seen that soap solution is what? Soap solution, milk, these are all the colloidal solution. So we have seen here, students, that if you look at the soap solution, you will find that the solution there seems to be a homogeneous. Okay. uh, when you look at the soap solution, student, what you will observe, you will find that it is not a transparent as we have seen in case of a true solution, but it is somehow translucent. And even here, you will find that the solution will appear homogeneous, but actually it is a heterogeneous. Now, there are some of the properties that you can get it with the help of the soap solution, students. So, if suppose the first property, if we talk that if you are trying to filter the soap solution, or the particles of the colloids which is present in that of the soap solution, so is it possible to separate it with the help of filter paper? No. When you try to filter it, the particle of the colloids will not going to separate it. It means the soap solution will easily pass through that of the filter paper. So we cannot separate the colloid particle by the process of filtration. The next thing that we can see here, student, that what will happen if suppose you have taken a soap solution and then you keep it left undisturbed for some time, and after half an hour or after 1 hour, when you will come and see, did you find any change? No. There will be no change. You will observe. What does that it indicate? It indicates that even then you have left it undisturbed for some times, so no settling of the particle can take place. So here the particles they do not settle down at the bottom. Okay, so we can say that in case of the soap solution or in case of the colloidal solution, the settling of the particles or the particles do not get settled down. Okay, so let us write all the properties of the colloids and then try to understand the relation with that of the soap solution. Now you see here, student, if you are knowing all the properties, then you can take any of the colloidal solution to explain the properties. So let us see the properties, students. So the first property that we will find here is colloidal solution. Actually, when we talk about the solution here, we are talking about the particles. So instead of that, we can also write it here that the colloidal particles or colloids simply, or colloids seems to be homogeneous. Okay, so we can write it seems to be homogeneous, but they are heterogeneous. Seems to be homogeneous, but they are heterogeneous. Okay, so basically what happens here, student, that if suppose you will see any of a colloidal solution, if you see the milk or a soap solution itself, and with the help of a powerful microscopes, you will find that the particle is heterogeneous. So we can say that and why does it happen? You see here, because of the size of the particle. We will discuss about that. So here it is intermediate between that of the true solution to suspension. So if the size of the particle is very small, absolutely it will seems to be homogeneous and it will not visible to us clearly. But if the particle size is little bit closer to that of the suspension, then we can say yes, it is heterogeneous. So we can write it colloidal particles can be seen with the help of a powerful microscope. Okay, so it can be seen with the help of a powerful microscope. Cannot be seen as it is, but with the help of a powerful microscope we are able to see it. Okay, and here with the help of this microscope we can say particles are heterogeneous. Okay, so how we can say, students, normally it seems homogeneous, but when you will use that of the powerful microscope and we have seen that, so then we find that the particles are actually heterogeneous. Now the reason here, again, the size of the particle. So let us write and try to understand the size of the particles. So next is, you see, the second one, the size of the particle. So the size of the particle is in between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. Is in between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. You see, students, 100 more than 100 nanometer is a suspension, and less than a 1 nanometer is a true solution. Okay, so the particles which lies between these two is a colloidal particle. So we can say that it is intermediate. Okay, between true solution and suspension. Okay, so it is an intermediate between true solution and suspension, and because of that only, you see, student, it seems homogeneous, heterogeneous, and the other properties also we can see because of that. The next property is that most of the particles, or the particles, cannot be seen by naked eyes. Cannot be seen by naked eyes. Okay, so you see, students, the particles of the suspension can be seen. The particles of the true solution even cannot be seen with the help of a powerful microscope. And here we can say that it cannot be seen by naked eyes, even though it cannot be seen with the help of a simple microscope or a compound microscope. So we can say that it cannot be seen with the microscope also. But with the help of a very high magnifying power microscope or a very powerful microscope, we are able to see the colloidal particles. Okay, so the particles, they are cannot be seen by the naked eyes. Now you see, if suppose you want to filter that of the colloidal solution or colloidal particles, then what will happen? Okay, so the next one that we can write it, if colloidal solution is filtered, with the help of filter paper, the particles of the colloid can pass through the filter paper easily. Okay, what does that mean? It means we cannot separate the colloidal particles with the help of the process filtration. Okay, so we cannot separate it with the process of a physical means. By we can say that it is not possible to separate them by physical means or by the process of filtration. So if suppose we use a filter paper, you can easily understand, student, by taking an example of a soap solution or a milk. So if suppose you are using a filter paper and you try to filter that of the milk, is any difference you will find? No. None of the fat or the water will going to separate from each other. It means the colloidal particle will not going to separate here in the colloidal solution. Okay, so we can say that colloidal solution, it cannot pass, it can easily pass through the filter paper and it cannot be separated through this process. Now here a question arises, and that question is that, okay, we are saying that we are not able to separate it with the help of the filtration. Is it any other method is there by which we are able to separate them? Yes, students. It is possible to separate that of the colloidal solution or colloidal particle from that of the solution. And that process is known as a centrifugation. So if suppose you will use the particle and centrifuge it in the centrifuging machine, by rotating it, you will find that the colloidal particle will get separated from that of the colloidal solution. So here the process of the centrifugation. We will discuss the process of centrifugation in this same chapter, but later on. Till that, I just want to tell you one thing, that if you see blood is also what? It is a colloidal solution. is a colloid only. The colloidal particles are present in it. So if suppose you want to separate that of the blood components, or if you want to separate the milk component or urine, so you see students, we used to do a process, a separating technique we use, and that is the centrifugation. So for separating the colloidal particles from the colloidal solution, we can do it, but not by the filtration, by the centrifugation method. Okay, so we can write it here, and that is now you see here students. So we can write it, if we want to separate the colloids or colloidal particles, if you want to separate the colloid or colloidal particles, we can use a technique called centrifugation. Centrifugation. Here the colloidal solution, you can say, is centrifuged in centrifuging machine. Centrifuging machine, separating the particles from each other. Okay, so this is the process, that is centrifugation. It is used to separating that of the colloidal particle from the colloidal solution here, students. Okay, so we can say that instead of using the process filtration, we are able to separate them by the process, that is centrifugation. Okay, now what will happen if suppose you will left it undisturbed for some time? So the particles of the colloids, they are quite stable. Okay, so we can say that they do not remain when you left it undisturbed. Even then also they are not going to settle down. So settling of the particle will not going to be seen in case of the colloidal solution. Okay, so we can write it that now you see. Next one is, if we keep the colloidal solution left undisturbed for some time, the particles of the colloids do not get settled down. What does that mean? It means settling of the particle does not occur in colloids. Settling of the particle does not occur in colloidal solution. So I told you, student, that if suppose the soap solution is there and when you keep it left undisturbed without touching it, and when you observe it after some time, so even then also you will find that the particles do not get settled down. But you remember that when we were talking in case of a suspension, so when you left it undisturbed, the suspension, what you will see, students, we had find that after leaving it undisturbed, the particle gets settled down. So here, the settling of the particle in case of the colloids does not happen. Now, there must be any reason that why is this so? Even then we are saying that the particles are heterogeneous. Now, chances is there that the particles are quite large because it is in between to that of the true solution and suspension. So there may be the particles which are little bit close to that of the suspension size. So even then, if it is quite large also, why it do not get settled down? So the reason here that we should know is a movement. So basically what happened, the particles, they used to move in a zigzag direction. And this zigzag movement of the particle is known as the Brownian movement because it has been given by Brownian. Basically what happened, when one of the particle of the colloid, it is randomly moving, so it will collide with the other, and due to which it changes its direction and start moving to the another direction. And the particle which is present near to the particle which is coming after the reflection, again the collision occur. What does that mean? It means the different particles present in a colloidal solution, they keeps on colliding with each other. And due to this collision, their path continuously changes, making a zigzag like a pattern. So this is known as a zigzag movement or Brownian movement. Now you see that if there is a continuous collision occur inside the particles, so they are in a continuous movement. And if they are moving continuously, if the movement is continuous, then absolutely they will not going to settle down. Okay, so we can say that they remain quite stable. Okay, so due to which they are not able to sit, they are not able to settle down. Okay, it is because of Brownian movement. So we can write it that we can write it that the particles do not get settled down due to the zigzag movement of the particles. This movement is also called as Brownian movement. Okay, so this movement is also called as the Brownian